What's happening, everyone? We're going to do another teardown. Today we're going to do the BLU G74. So if you want to have one of these and you got to get in and change the battery, replace the screen, or replace whatever part you got to replace, we'll show you how the phone tears down completely, and then you can kind of be able to fix the part that you need to fix. So as a FYI, if this is your first time getting into a phone repair and kind of don't know what you're doing, understand that you can damage the phone more going into a different, you kind of don't know what you're doing. Just want to give you that heads up just in case you do damage the phone more. If you have something important on your phone, make sure you back it up before you do any repair, if you can. And because you could make it unfixable, so just keep that in mind. And if you're not, if you're not confident in your own skills, then obviously ask a pro to do it for you. Otherwise, we'll just start breaking this down. Also, just a heads up, we got a ton more teardowns and a ton more hard resets going up. So if there's anything specific you want to see, just drop a comment. We'll try to get that up for you sooner than later. And if you could follow, share, like, all that great stuff, we'd always appreciate all that. But otherwise, let's get into this. This phone, the reason we're tearing this one down is because it's got bad volume flex. So I don't know how this happened, but it kind of messed that up pretty bad. So we got to take that off and take it down to the bare bones. And still waiting for the part to come in, but we'll at least show you guys how this phone comes apart. So first thing we got to do is obviously make sure it's off. In this case, the phone is off. And then we got to pull the SIM tray. That SIM tray is already pulled, so we're good there. And we can start by heating up the back. How much heat you put on it. Look what I'm doing already. It's already warping a little bit on the power volume buttons because there's nothing there, so it's got nowhere to go. But we can grab our handy dandy pry tool. Some people use metal, some people use plastic. There's really no wrong or right way to do it. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. This is my tool. There are many like it. This one's mine. So I'm gonna get under here, under the get this back cover off. Since it's already pulling up here, I'll just get right underneath here and start kind of just moving it along. The back is glass, so you don't want to crack it. And where it cracks the fastest is on the corners, so that's where you have to be kind of pull it out a little bit and then push it back in. You also have to be worried if there's any wires or usually BLU runs the fingerprint sensor on top of the battery, so if you're coming down this way, you want to just be cautious of not tearing that because that's another part you'll have to replace then. So we get in here, and usually if it stops moving relatively easy, like that right there, it's starting to kind of gunk up on me a little bit. You either just go a little bit slower or add a little bit more heat. Extra heat's not bad. You basically just want to get the one side completely open. So we get this going pretty good. It's going pretty good. Don't try to pull on this, it will snap in half on you. It's not plastic, it is glass. So you watch those corners. That's where stuff tends likes to break. And they usually put a little bit extra glue around where the camera lens is. You guys can see that it's like not blowing up at all over there. So I'll have to probably throw a teeny bit more heat on there in that spot. Thing two is when you heat it up, it takes that sticky residue off a little bit better, and your screws won't be covered up. So when you take the screws out, you'll actually be able to see where they're coming from. All right, where are we at over here? Oops. Looks like we're just stuck around the camera, which makes sense. Heavier spot. There we go. So we got this off, you can just kind of pull it back a little bit, and boom, there you go. There's the back cover. If you're gonna reuse this, make sure you just pull some of that sticky residue back, so it's not kind of like floating on top, you know what I mean? All right, so once we get to here, what we want to do is you want to take out all the screws. So we'll grab our handy dandy screwdriver and go to town. Alright, so I'll go back and double check, make sure I didn't miss any. That one's out, it just doesn't want to pop out. We can get that out as soon as we pull that mid-frame off. Make sure I didn't miss any screws. Oh, see, I did miss one right there. Well, that might not be a screw. Alright. Once we have this portion out, we want to grab your pry tool and find the weak spots, usually around the sim tray or the volume buttons. Just kind of slide it in. When I say weak spot, I mean just to slide it in and then, you know, kind of push out when you're a little bit further out. Because if you push up here, you're just going to snap that piece, and it's going to look silly once you put the phone back together. So this is coming off. If you do get stuck on a piece, just go back and look if you missed a screw. It's very easy to miss a screw, especially when they blend in so well with the back of the phone. Yeah, I'll zoom this back out so you guys can see a little better. Alright, that looks like it's coming off pretty easily. It's just also when you're pulling this up, just make sure you get nothing connected. Like if this was the fingerprint sensor, you could see it goes this way and it's to the motherboard. So if you yank on it too hard, you might snap off the actual board. It looks like this rear camera is just, or front camera just is attached to this and does not want to come out. All right, there we go. So sometimes the blue parts will stick. There's your mid-frame. Missing the buttons. The camera looks good though, so it's just nice. That portion's done. We'll put that to the side. Then we'll check if there's any inner screws in here. Blue has a tendency to have some screws in the motherboard. There's one right there, and there's a second one right there. But let's pop this loudspeaker off first to see if there's any screws on the charging port. Yeah, so we got one right there. So let's take those 3 screws out real quick. Since they're smaller, I'm just putting them in a different pile. That way I don't get them mixed up when I'm putting the phone back together. Alright, now we can start unplugging stuff. Well, the front camera's already unplugged. It's just, it has this little heat shield. You can actually just peel it back off or just rip it. It's not going to do anything. There you go. See, front camera gone. I just try to avoid touching it, putting fingerprints on it. So it might stain it when it comes, you know, the second time around. Putting it back in. I usually leave the rear cameras in because they're usually sticky, but I'll just unplug them. And then unplug this broken fingerprint reader. To the side, I'll have to recycle that. Lift this portion up, you'll get all your connectors for the battery and the screen. There you go. And move down to the charging port, we'll get that out because the coax runs underneath. Now we can lift up that coax, grab it, pull it up, and that's off, it's out of the way. So let's see how this board comes out. Find a nice little spot and just kind of push up gently, and that came right out. So there's the board. Move this to the side. All right, so we got our rear cameras are still in there. Oh, actually, our third rear camera is still stuck to the board. So let's take that off first. Push that out. And get better focusing the camera. All right. They have this paste over it, or this sticker over it. So take that off. There we go. There it is on the cameras. And I'll pull the board since it's, or the power charging port. It's right here. Try to find a spot. If I can't usually get it with this tool, I'll just grab the flathead because it can fit into smaller spots and give me a little bit more leverage. So looks like there's just a little bit of glue on here. Oh. And it pops out just like that. Boom. Flies at you, right at the lens. Charger port out. And we got the ear speaker, vibration motor, the two cameras, the side flex that's damaged, and the battery. So I'll kind of look at the back. These cameras are pretty stuck in there. So I'll add a little bit of heat to that. I like heat. It helps to get out a little bit easier. So you gotta watch so you don't overdo it. All right, let's see where we're at. Let's see if this will look better. How much easier does that come out? I would not want to budge when I try to move that with the screwdriver. And that one, see, it's coming right off. That is why I like heat. We got the rear camera, combine those together, put it in a little baggie so we don't lose them. And next we'll do the ear speaker. So we'll get underneath here real quick and just gently pry up. Might be better just to get this sticker off out of the way first. So yeah, it's pulling the flex. You want to be slightly careful so you don't pull too hard, so you don't rip it. All right. Underneath here, pull this up a little bit gently. And that's just really sticky in here. All right, got that out of the way, and I'll take this little sticker off too. And then you grab your flathead, usually either on the bottom or the side over here, spot where it will let you pry up the ear speaker without breaking it. So our goal is to not break it. I have a tendency to break ear speakers. It's like my Achilles heel. But that one was fine. Came right out. You guys can see that. Move that to the side. So we got the vibration motor, flex, and battery. So I'll do the vibration motor first. There you go. That's all done and dandy. So now we got the flex and the battery left. I'm just gonna throw, I know this flex is broken, but I would just wanna show you guys how I would normally take it off so it doesn't break. I think I should invest into heat guns because I use them so much. All right, let's pry this up. And I don't, if you guys have seen my other videos, I think I've mentioned it, but the reason I can get this tool underneath so much stuff is because I actually sharpened it with the file. So it's a little bit more thin to get in, and that's the whole reason I did it, because they're usually a little bit more blunt and harder to kind of get in. I'm gonna go to the side of this, just right on the side. Gently go across it all. That should be good enough to pull off. There you go. There's your power volume flex. You can see how that's volume button is toast on that one. Add that to the recycling pile. All right. So the last thing we got left on this phone is just the battery. So let's find the prying portion of the battery, or I should say the pulling portion of the battery. This has a second piece. It does not. Let's see if this will come out. Nope. Oh my god. You would literally break the screen pulling this hard. Alright, so let's grab our pry tool. This is probably the most dangerous part, I guess. Dangerous slash, I won't say hardest, but definitely the part you have to be more cautious about. Get in between this piece of plastic and the battery and just gently pry out. I like to get it enough to where I can grab it with my hands, or my fingers I should say, which can be slightly difficult. But if you puncture this battery with this metal, it will go up in flames, and we don't want that to happen. That would not be a good day for anybody. Alright, so I got my fingers underneath there. Oh my gosh, it still doesn't work. You guys can see how hard I'm pulling on this. This is supposed to make it easier so you don't have to worry about damaging the battery. But like how much that's bending just for me trying to get it out. So whatever glue they're using for this stuff is like, I don't even know how to describe it, how strong that is. There's a battery, it's good shape, didn't puncture it, didn't really bend it, so it goes right back. We got the end of our screen here. We'll pull this piece of plastic off. Don't need that, and we will recycle this too. And then you have your LCD digitizer ribbon, and you have your just the connector ribbon, so that connects from the charging port to the motherboard. And if you're replacing the screen, obviously you'd pull this one too, but this one's relatively easy, just comes right off. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. There we go. That's just the little sticker. See, half of it's on there, half of it's not. That is how we do a full teardown on a BLU G74. If you guys have any questions or comments, just let us know. We'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. Otherwise, if you can, like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.